because CD Projekt Red want me to take a little bit of a scenic tour, and I just wish they would just let me have as much or as little agency as I hope. And the biggest thing about this is the open world nature of this game. The immersiveness of this game is totally at odds with the narrative the game is trying to tell. Hi everybody, and welcome to High Scores, High Stakes Game of the Month Club for November 2025. Nearly a full calendar year of Game of the Month being on time. I'm your host as always, Mr. Luvva Luvva, and with me is my co-host.
Beep boop, it is Tomahawk Bot. How are we doing? Welcome in.
Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. How are you?
Good. This is an interesting one. Game of the month this month. I have commented this one very conflicted, to be honest. I'm excited to talk about it. I'm really excited to talk about it, but verdict at the end is conflicting.
Yeah, I don't have a letter.
I don't have a definitive position for it. I'm in the same boat as yourself here.
Yeah, I don't have a letter. I'm hoping that me and your conversation about this game helps me decide where on the patented High Scores, High Stakes tier list we are going to put our Game of the Month, which is, well, everyone knows what it is because they've read the title. It's Cyberpunk 2077. That's what it is.
If you're coming in here as your first ever episode going, what is this Cyberpunk business?
Yeah. It's one of the many games that we have dropped a opinion on this year that has brought much ire of its internet community our way.
We've got to stop doing it though. But yeah, I think this is more an accountability booster for us.
Yeah, that's it. We are learning very swiftly, especially in the tail end of 2025, that what you say on the internet really makes people angry.
Will resonate with a lot of folk.
Negatively, and they will let you know in one certain terms that they disagree with everything you've just said about their favorite game. Yeah. But before we get into the deep dive reviewing of Cyberpunk 2077, let's tell everyone, first time listeners especially, what High Scores High Stakes is. High Scores High Stakes is the only competitive PlayStation podcast on the internet. Me, Tomahawk, and our other host, Cardinal Smith, who can't be here tonight due to other reasons bigger than the podcast, compete against one another in a 12-week PlayStation Gaming Challenge League table. Every week we pick a game and play a challenge in that game. Whether the challenge gets 3 points, second place gets 2 points, third place gets 1 point. Whoever has topped the league at the end of the season wins the coveted, highly sought after High Scores, High Stakes Cup. Proudly modelled by Tomahawk, despite the fact he's not the current champion at all.
Irrelevant.
Earns.
Irrelevant. Consult the tomes if you want to know who won Season 5. Nobody actually cares, though.
Everyone cares. The party is coming. New Year's Eve.
Class.
But anyway, if this 1 hour-ish episode of High Scores High Stakes isn't enough content to fill your week, feel free to point your browser towards highscoreshighstakes.com. There you will find every episode we have ever done, a game review of every challenge game we have ever played, and much, much more, with much, much more coming very soon. So highscoreshighstakes.com for all your content need to fill your week. Tomahawk.
Yes. I kind of zoned out for a second with the housekeeping.
Let's talk Cyberpunk. All right. So for people who have never listened to one of our Game of the Month Club episodes, we deep dive review. We pick a game, play it through the month, then come back here to deep dive review it. We cover everything about it. We cover gameplay, graphics, sound, storyline. We cover everything, game mechanics. We also go into the development of the game and whether or not it went smoothly. So I think
they never do.
I mean, this one definitely didn't.
Definitely didn't.
This one has the longest development segment I have ever written notes on.
Oh, I'm excited. Like, I know about the jank. Like, I think we all know about the optimization of Cyberpunk, but I'm curious to see. Yeah, I mean, the lack thereof, we'll say. But I'm curious to see what else Projekt Red failed to do.
Oh my goodness, man. It is wild. The story behind this game is wild. Let us take a little music break and then we'll come back and speak about the development of Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, Tomahawk, the time has come. It is the last Monday of November, and that means it's Game of the Month time. Let's go. Cyberpunk 2077. Let's talk development. Now, Tom, you alluded there just at the end of the last week's segment that this released unoptimized. Okay.
Massively unoptimized.
And I am going to tell you right now that when you hear the story of this game's development, you will fully understand why it was at
this
release.
is going to be one of them like soap opera, drama, telenovela style developments, isn't it? It's going to be like...
I think it's a case of Icarus in that CD Projekt Red had big dreams but flew far too close to the sun. I think this is the problem with Cyberpunk 2077 on release. And I want to stress that very, very much. The game that released in 2020 is not the game you can play today at all. However, let's talk about it, all right? Do you know when Cyberpunk 2077 was officially announced, Tom?
I have it in my head as around like... my brain's telling me like 2014 to 2016.
Okay, that's what your brain's telling you.
Kind of where my brain's telling me, because I also gauge that like the best music we ever had, the best films we ever had were in that sort of
best
2-year stint as well.
My goodness, that is a big claim. Don't forget to join us for High Movies, High Popcorns.
Any views I share on the 2014 to 2016 window are purely my own, not High Scores, High Stakes, or shared by that.
Absolutely not. But anyway, your brain was telling you wrong information. Your brain is a purveyor of fake news because it was not 2014 to 2016. Okay? Cyberpunk 2077 was officially announced after the release of The Witcher 2 Enhanced Edition in 2012. In 2012. They announced this game in 2012. Okay?
Oh my days.
So that can tell you, okay, so there's an 8-year gap between, hey, we're making this game, and hey, here's a game that you want to play, but you can't because it's broken. 8 years.
Here's nothing works, but we need to release it.
8-year development cycle. So after The Witcher 2 Enhanced Edition came out in 2012, they announced, hey, look at us, we're making a Cyberpunk game. We hold the official license to the Cyberpunk universe from the year 2077. So they can't cover anything before it, but they can cover anything after it they want. So they initially started making this game on their own in-house engine, which was used to power The Witcher 2, which is called the Red Engine 3. Mm-hmm. So they started development on it and then realized, this isn't going to work.
This thing, great.
This isn't going to work on this engine because this engine can't cope with everything we're throwing at it. So they upgraded the Red Engine from 3 to 4 and then went back to Cyberpunk. So this is a game that had more delays than I have ever seen a game have, to be quite honest, apart from The Last Guardian. The Last Guardian also had a messy development, but it was announced in 2012. First trailer for the game released in 2013, then another trailer in 2018, then another one in 2019.
Oh God.
And then they announced the official date at E3 2019, and the official date was April 2020. Then April 2020 rolled around, and they were like, yeah, we're not going to make it, so it's going to be September. And then September rolled around, and they're like, no, it's actually going to be November. And then November rolled around, and they're like, well, actually, it's going to be December 10th, 2020. So this game finally released.
This is like the Elder Scrolls 6 kind of thing, except at least with Cyberpunk, I kind of remember the beats, and I remember getting the trailer, and I remember everything being pushed back, and I knew it wasn't really something I was going to be heavily invested in. And I feel as if now this is kind of, I remember when, do you remember when the last Daniel Craig Bond film came out, No Time to Die, and MGM basically said, we have to release this regardless of it being finished or however it's going to look at the end, because if we don't, we'll go broke. I have a feeling that this is kind of what CD Projekt Red have went, we need to get this game out, otherwise there could be a lot of financial implications here.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think the big difference between this and the Elder Scrolls 6 is at least we were seeing this game I think they announced the Elder Scrolls 6 in 2019, if memory serves me correct.
You were
I'm
about
seeing
6
nothing other
years.
than the title
Yeah.
card. But at least they showed us something. Yeah. So throughout 2020, obviously, because it got delayed 3-4 times in
Yeah.
2020. So obviously the gamers do the gamer thing and started sending death threats to CD Projekt Red about missing all these dates and stuff like that. So, which is something I forgot about. I totally forgot about that. I mean, I'm not surprised because the internet is a cesspit sometimes, but totally unacceptable. It goes without saying, I think.
Oh god, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so as I said, it released on December the 10th in 2020, and it was a game that on release reviewed well. It was mostly positive, I think, on Steam. But someone, I think it was a journalist online, made it public that their reviews were subject to a extremely strict embargo. So the reviews were not allowed to be released until day of release. And if
Okay.
anyone broke any aspect of it, it was a $27,000 fine for breaking it, which is
Okay.
huge. And then someone else leaked that all the reviews were being done on PC because only PC keys were being supplied to reviewers for this game, regardless of what platform they covered as a publication. They were only given
Oh right,
PC review
okay.
codes,
That seems sneaky.
right? It gets worse because if you were making a video review of Cyberpunk 2077, you were only allowed to use video footage of the game supplied to you by CD Projekt Red.
Oh no.
So needless to
That's
say,
They knew
there's
what they
red
were getting
flags here.
themselves into. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there's red flags here, and very soon after launch, all the red flags came to a head. It was, I think, the best word that we can use to describe the launch of this game, and I'm talking specifically about consoles, PS4, Xbox One, it was a disaster. I think some reviewer called the game a disgrace. Like, this is a huge budget with a huge development team. I think 500 people worked on this
Yeah,
game.
yeah. I saw that on my notes there. 500 developers on this game. That is, yeah. I've seen like footage and clips of like early
The
doors.
original
Like,
launch.
yeah, yeah. Like I'm seeing like people just falling through the map continually.
Yeah,
Everything,
or the
the
map not loading.
physics just not loading. Like physics not happening. Um, a game that just looked like it was. I have no words to describe what that early access, early doors 1.0 version was that we were working
Wow.
with. It was crazy.
I think calling it 1.0 is
1.0 is generous.
very, very generous.
Very generous.
Yeah. So this game launched. It was a disaster. Reviewers were calling it a disgrace. I think on PlayStation, it was moderately well reviewed, but the reviews all focused around the story. The story's good, but it doesn't run. It crashes. It breaks your PlayStation. Your PlayStation will overheat. All this sort of stuff. It was so bad on consoles that on the 17th of December, which is precisely 1 week after it released, Sony pulled it from the PSN and offered anybody who bought it from PSN a full refund.
Fair.
And it stayed off PlayStation Network until June 2021. But when it came back on PSN in June 2021, Sony had added a little red label to it saying, if you purchase this, please expect performance issues.
I remember that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot about it until I read it. It's like, I do remember this. Microsoft did almost the same thing. They refunded everyone who wanted one, who bought it on Xbox Live. And they also put an issue, if you buy this, please expect performance issues. But Microsoft never pulled it from the shop. Never.
So they just took it on the chin basically and went, look,
Yeah.
play it at your own risk then.
And once they put that warning label up, you ain't getting a refund because you were warned.
Crazy.
So it gets even better than that. Not only did Microsoft and PlayStation offer full refunds if you bought it from their stores, but GameStop did an unprecedented thing, something they had never done before and something they haven't done since. If you bought the console version from GameStop, and you wanted to, you could bring back your copy of the game, even if it had been opened, for a full refund.
Incredible.
Never been not done before, never done since.
But like, yeah, it's never been. I would never imagine. Obviously, like this last like decade more or so that we're finally getting into this stage of like, oh, you buy the game and then there's a day one patch. Like
Yeah.
that's the new norm now. But for it to be so bad that like everyone has just went, no, we can't stand by this sale of this game.
Yeah.
It's cool to see from like Sony, from Microsoft to be doing that, but like it sounds like that there's been no accountability from CD Projekt Red in this instance, and like I don't feel as if that there was any kind of communication from them out to say we messed up. Sorry.
Now you say that, okay, but the story gets better. The plot thickens because the CEO of CD Projekt Red did make a public statement, and he said that the release date of this game on PlayStation and Xbox was unaccounted for, in that their playtesters experienced none of what everyday gamers were experiencing in the game. And he says, please do not blame our development team, blame me, and blame the other directors on the board. So he took the blame for the team. I'm presuming that came on the back of all the death threats because of the constant delays as well. So he had to do something. Likely. But it's good to see an actual executive come out and go, "Don't know what? Don't blame the guys. We made them release this game in this state."
Do you know what? It's better than the Randy Pitchford approach to go, well, you're not a fan of the franchise then.
Upgrade your PC. That's your problem, mate. But yeah, so in saying all this, it released in a mess on the consoles. It was a disgrace. It didn't work. It literally didn't work on consoles. It just didn't. It
Crazy.
Wasn't that it was buggy. It just didn't work.
I think that really put me off it, because I was quite like, I do quite like a AAA RPG. And I remember that trailer, and I just remember because Keanu Reeves was, when he was sort of attached to this and was doing all the press work for it and stuff, I was like, I could really get behind this game.
Yeah.
But just, I think in the midst of the chaos of at launch, I was like, I'm not going to buy this game. Like, why would I? I will get this at a later date. And my later date was August 2024, when I was on paternity leave, and thought, I'll play this.
Yeah, I was the same, but when I saw all the Keanu Reeves, you're breathtaking or whatever it was, and I was like, I could get behind this game. This game sounds really interesting. It looked amazing. But yeah, my purchase date for this actually never came, because I played it when it came free on PlayStation Plus, to be quite honest.
That was like 2 months ago.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, that means stands to reason. See, I bought mine around the same time. I bought it and Elden Ring because they were both on like a 50% offer. So it's like 2 games for one full price game. I'll have that. And installed them both. Full be me, I suppose, and went, this is a lot going on in my life right now. Both of these kind of have to give. And it did, until I kind of started doing the prep for this and started getting the playtime for this. And I really like how this looks. I think this game is gorgeous. The music, I'm playing it like fully with headphones on, like, and just have them on full boot with the like performance. I play on performance for picture and everything like that. Different game, 100% different game from 5 years ago.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those games. It's like No Man's Sky, because when No Man's Sky came out, it got ripped to shreds for not being the game that
let them cook.
That Hello Games promised, but they updated it really regularly. They give a next gen version. I think the next, for my money, I think I remember that the PS5 version was a free upgrade if you owned the PlayStation 4 version digitally on PlayStation Network and Xbox.
Yeah, I think that's
don't
correct.
Quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. So they have upgraded it. They've made it work, and it's, to be fair, they makes a completely different game than what released. A lot of people do say, well, name me a better redemption in video games than No Man's Sky, and Cyberpunk 2077 is always a game that gets brought up on it. But I have no idea if it was ever fixed for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. No idea. I don't know why they would, because PlayStation 5 was out, but who knows?
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones where they like have made it probably with the PS5 in mind, and have just went like, right, well, let's just sort of push away the PS4 release of the Xbox, the Series S release or whatever, and
Yeah.
just push it for the next gen consoles at this point. Like, because 2020 we're well into the new console life cycles at that point. Or well,
Yeah,
we're
yeah, it
starting
came
at
out.
least anyway.
Came out that was 1 month into the PlayStation 5 life cycle, so it was. But yeah, that is the development story. The colorful, wonderful world of CD Projekt Red's development pipeline for
Incredible.
Cyberpunk 2077. So the time has come, Tomahawk, where we get to talk about the actual game as it is in 2025. So let's deep dive review Cyberpunk 2077. All right, Tomahawk, Cyberpunk 2077. I think we have to start with Night City, the setting of
There's
Cyberpunk.
so much of it. It's like this thriving metropolis of chaos. I would you call it a metropolis? No, it's a thriving cesspool of chaos and anarchy. And this will feed into kind of like the gameplay mechanics and stuff later on. But like everyone is so aggro, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is very fitting with the city, but I feel as if it's like Projekt Red have basically took what like the GTA template is and just tried to ramp it up to 11 basically, and with this kind of like Blade Runner-esque theme going through it.
See, I don't get the. I've seen a lot of people say this. I don't see the GTA sort of parallels with Night City, other than it's a city and you could drive around it and you can leave
That
the
might
city.
be pretty much the only comparison that I'm going for.
Yeah, because the thing I like about Night City in this game is, one, it's cool as heck. It just looks so cool. It's a great looking cyberpunk setting where it is Metropolis, but it's split into like very distinct sort of
Districts and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so you have like your industrial complex and you have like your extremely like wealthy area, and it's like two different locations. And I find that yes, there's a lot of aggro with the pedestrians and stuff like that on people who just sort of inhabit the night city, but I find that the way people react to you in the game changes depending on, it's all very contextual of how people react to you, like what your renown is. If you have a high sort of renown, if you've done a lot of side quests and your street cred has went up, people treat you differently. Which hasn't really happened in Grand Theft Auto since really San Andreas.
Yeah, because that had the main, that sort of slider functionality in the game and stuff. Yeah, street that street cred essentially what it is. Yeah, or your gang respect or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I like about it as well is, so it's all very reactive to you, the player, and kind of like GTA. It feels like it's a place. It doesn't feel like.
Oh, it feels alive. Yeah. I feel as if like you could walk into every building or interact with every sort of NPC. Like, and for the most part, yes, you can interact with nearly everything. But then that kind of gives me choice paralysis. This is one of the few games that like kind of stops me in my tracks, where it's like there's nearly too much going on. But I think that's kind of the point. I think that's a credit to what CD Projekt Red have done in this. They've properly created like what feels like a living organism by just the setting alone.
Yeah, but I think it's incredible. I think it's an incredible setting. I think in games, especially lower quality open world games, it feels like the game world exists for you, the player, and that all the NPCs are doing things in order to enhance your experience within the game world. Whereas Night City puts up a lot of friction against you, and it exists because it exists, and it doesn't exist as a playground for you, the player, but in its design. Am I making sense?
Yeah, it's there to test you as opposed to like nurture you and carry you through the narrative.
Yeah, it feels like in games like GTA and like Red Dead Redemption also has it, where the characters all have like routines, and the NPCs all do things. They all go to the shops, they go back home, they do their lawns, whatever it might be. But at the same time, it feels like they also just exist as props for your fun, for you to do basically what you want to the NPCs. We're here. A lot of the NPCs will be, if you have low street cred, they will not give you the time of day, and you can shoot pretty much anyone you want, or you can
Yeah.
attack anyone you want, and there will be a reaction totally based on what is going on from other NPCs. Some NPCs will run away screaming. Some will run towards and join the fight. A gang will appear out of nowhere. This game feels alive. Night City is genuinely one of the best video game settings I have ever been in.
Yeah. For the time I've played it in the prep for this, I feel like it is a living, breathing character. And I feel like as if you go around the corner and nothing feels predetermined. Nothing feels like it's everything just feels like it's a luck of the draw, a roll of the dice. Basically, what mood that NPC woke up in will dictate what they do. And like it kind of reflects in like when you boot the game up as well. Like the intro is the same, like the ticker and the running dialogue is the same every time you load it up, where it's like the radio broadcast, and it's like it just gives you that sense of what Night City's like, where he's like, welcome everybody to Night City, and basically 30 people died, you killed a bunch of cops, so expect retaliation, and it just kind of feeds that beast.
Yep, yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I thought it was
glad you
really
mentioned
good.
that.
Really good.
I love like, those little radio like interviews of like, it's a really nice way of recapping the player of what they've done, because it changes throughout the game. Whenever a big story beat happens, that changes, and they're interviewing people about what has happened at like Arasaka, whatever it might be, and they talk about the bloodshed and all this here business. It is a
they
great
match
way.
it really nice with the story and narrative beats as well. Even like when you do that segment and it does that shot of V on the motorbike and Night City's in the background, and then it goes into like the actual continue screen. That changes depending on where you are, what you've done in the story as well. And then it's the guy, it's always a different like NPC watching the news in like some sort of different setting. I think currently at mine's like the junkyard, where he's like in his car watching the TV, and it's always about the news about the last major mission prior and all the aftermath of that. So like the NPCs feel involved, I suppose, in that way. It's like ultra immersive.
It is
Massively.
It is like, yeah, it really is. And the way it like they introduced Night City almost like a character in Cyberpunk 2077. You know, the opening 1 hour of the game is not in Night City. You're in like the wastes outside of it, and you have missions to do. You meet Jackie, and then you have a mission that you go into Night City, and the way they build up Night City is like almost what games and movies do to like the villain or the hero. They build it up, and then all of a sudden it's just there, and the way you enter Night City is incredible.
Because the game starts, you're like the big I think it depends on your sort of narrative choice, really. But
it depends on what faction you've picked. Yeah.
You sort of start in that corporate position, and then you basically like you meet Jackie, and then you get told sod off, all of your corporate plugins are going to stop work, and then basically it just shows your characters descend into like, let's go party in Night City, and then it's this montage of just, it gets worse and worse and worse until you're just like the proper dregs. You're just a thug and you're just part of the machine of Night City, just that perpetual cog of crime and delinquency, really. Like it's such a, like your character has this like immediate fall from grace, and you're just like, right, okay, well, I am in the thick of Night City now. And it just like it doesn't give you, like, you can have your tutorials in all the different aspects, but like nothing can really prep you for just that environment.
No,
particularly at the very start.
Yes. The start of it is amazing. That their montage actually really annoyed me, because there was a lot of like, all the cutscenes in this game are in-game engine cutscenes. They're seamless from playing the game. They look identical, and some of it looked really cool. And I'm like, what are you doing? Don't show me this. I want to
You want to
play
be
this.
living it, like, yeah.
I want to play these scenes. I want to do that. That looks awesome. But yeah, no, Night City though. Night City is the backdrop to this entire game, and even when you change through district to district, everything changes. The type of buildings change, the people change, their attitudes change, the enemies change, and you almost have to build up your street cred in every single sort of district in order to,
Stand a
access
chance nearly in.
merchants and all this here business. It's just the setting. I think it would feel wrong to me to start talking about the quality of a game like Cyberpunk 2077 without talking about its most important character, which is Night City, because it is genuinely one of the greatest game worlds I have ever spent time in, and it
Doesn't feel like a chore going from place to place. I actually feel like when you constantly get jumped by gang members in cars, that's when it gets a little bit tedious. But for the most part, I genuinely just like the idea of walking across the street and going, like, there's missions where it's like, oh, you're 500 meters away from your waypoint kind of tells you there. I go, well, I can't be bothered calling my car. I will take a little stroll down the city.
That little stroll takes 2 hours because there's a cop shit out, and then there's a gang shit out, and then there's someone beating up someone else in the middle of the street.
And then you feel like you need to get involved with something or other than. And then if you look at a gang member for too long, his like little aggro bar at the top then just spikes, and then next thing you know, you're in combat, and then the police are after you. Yeah, it gets a lot. Just a trip to the shops might take longer than it anticipated. Yeah. I wouldn't want to live there, but just this whole passerby as a player, can't fault that game. Can't fault that setting.
Yeah, kind of like you're a tourist here. You're just taking in the sights. You don't have to smell the place because it looks like it smells.
Lock your cars, lock your windows.
And don't say anything offensive because you may be arrested by the police of Night City because they arrest everyone apparently.
Wild.
I love it.
I put everything so far into like my charm or charisma kind of stat in my builder, so I can basically talk myself out of everything.
I just
doesn't really work early doors. Like a lot of the time, it's like, no, you need like 10 into this, and I'm like, oh god, I am still miles off.
4. Yeah, I just pumped every skill point into net running and combat. To be honest, that was my take.
It probably be well needed at this point now.
Yes, yeah. So that's Night City. Let's talk about what Night City does for this game, which is it encapsulates the story of Cyberpunk 2077. Now, full disclosure, I am, I think, 17 hours into this game. So
I'm about 10, so I'm probably not the wealth of knowledge that we should be now. So, Cardinal Smith, I'm pretty sure, has played this from more or less from day release.
I'm fairly certain Cardinal probably has double our combined play times in this game, probably more. Because it's one of those games I can see him getting lost in. I think he would have a very different viewpoint to this game than I think what I'm going to have. But no, the story so far. So I will tell you where I am. I am just back from the deep net. Without spoiling the story, I am back from the deep net. That's all I'm saying.
No idea what that means.
So, yeah, the story's a funny one in this game. It's incredible. The story's incredible. Okay.
I from where I'm on, the story has just, from what felt like really mundane stuff, is like you're just little fish caught in a much bigger pond with a lot of moving parts here. So everything kind of feels, all of your objectives and all of your missions feel super disjointed, and you're just trying to. V is just trying to make his way through this mess, basically. I have met Johnny Silverhands. I must establish this, and he just throws the narrative for a curveball, because up until like 3 or 4 nights ago, I was like going, how does Johnny Silverhands fit into this?
Me too. That's what I was thinking. I was like
in the prologue, and I was just like, oh damn.
Yeah. So I think we can tell what the setup is for the story of this game, because it happens at the end of the prologue. Like the story, gets set up in the prologue, and at the end of the prologue, the story is set, and then the game really starts. So the setup for this game, the storyline is you control a character called V. V is a netrunner, and he, without spoiling it, he comes into the possession of a top secret microchip that contains the digital engram of Johnny Silverhands. And let's just say, it is not a good thing that V decided to stick that chip into his head when he did. It was not a good thing. So that's the story. What I like about the story of this game is, number one, it is insanely cyberpunky. You know, it all revolves around like body augmentation.
Yeah.
It all revolves around the use of the internet and sort of computer systems. It feels very grungy. It's full of great characters. Like, the characters in this game are great. There's so many memorable characters here. But I don't know if I want to get into the negatives yet. I think we should just concentrate on the good stuff. I think what the story does really well is it plants so many seeds and questions into the player's head throughout the prologue. Now, the prologue is exceptional. It took me 5 hours to get through the prologue of this game.
That's about right for me as well, which I sat there for ages going, it's like, you had said something in the group chat to me going, oh, you haven't even got to title cards yet. And I'm like, no, I mean, I've started the game. I've definitely got the title cards. And then it kind of occurred to me about halfway through the escape from Arasaka Tower. And I was like, something doesn't feel right about that. I feel as if, like, I also felt like that game could have ended at that point.
Yeah, me too.
I felt like the game could have finished at that point. I've been like, what the hell just happened here? Then it just fades to black, and next thing you know, you're hit with the Cyberpunk title. I'm like, okay, what? I was just doing mundane stuff. I was doing like bounty hunting a minute ago. Now I'm like on the run from this mega corporation. It just escalates really fast, and just took me so off guard, because it was teetering to the point where I was like, am I really enjoying this, or am I just putting time in to slog through it? Like, so the hook is it gets you in big.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing. I was the same when I was playing through it for the first time. 5 hours, and I was like, yeah, this game's quite boring.
It's not gripping.
At all. Like, at all. I mean, the opening sequence is incredible. Well, I say the opening sequence. Once you get the car and meet Jackie, and you get your package that you're running into Night City, that's incredible. And then you get into Night City, and it slows down an awful lot. And then it slow burns up until that Arasaka Tower moment. Once you hit that, you're like, this is the game. This is the game I've been waiting to play here. And it is incredibly impressive. But when that sequence ends and you get the Cyberpunk, I was like, what?
Where do we go from here then? Because I found that even there was a big lull in that again, and the missions that I'm doing are like fetch quests. Yeah. So the pacing's off.
Yep.
In this game in a huge way. But I know that the narrative is going to come in big peaks and troughs. I have a feeling like the next major set piece will just be an 11, and then the lulls after that will just be like, go and see your friend and go for a drink or go to the strip club or buy a prostitute or something like that. You just the lulls are you're left to your own devices to figure out and do side quests and stuff. But
yeah,
it's weird.
Let's get into it. I was going
to without holding off on the negative too much. I think the highs are so high.
Yeah,
it makes the lows seem so low.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. The story is so good, and they plant the seeds so well, and they give you. I would love to say they give you enough breadcrumbs to follow to get you through the story. They really don't. They have big story moments, and then they push the story to the side a little bit, and then go just have fun in Night City. You know, the amount of times I've been given a side quest and it's like, go to this bar, and you get to the bar and it's like, this bar doesn't open for 6 hours. Find something to do in Night City. And you're thinking,
Yeah.
Now you can go into the menu, your notebook, and you can fast forward
Just skip
time and stuff
time,
like
or you
that.
can sit at a bench and just skip to the next scene,
or
yeah,
just
as well.
drive around, shit, and smoke
So
through your window.
as I was just kind of, as we're talking about this, I have like my Cyberpunk notes here. I didn't realize that this was a TTRPG back in the day.
Yeah.
So, being a current TTRPGer at the minute, there is a lot of what we like to call quote unquote shop episodes, where they basically are just, you go to the shop, you do these mundane stuff that you kind of have to do for the sake of the narrative, but also they're essential parts, because if you just go guns a blazing into, I get it breaks up your pacing, but how it's weird that now that I'm seeing it like from an actual tabletop perspective to a video game perspective, it's like they've translated it brilliantly. Do I want to see it for like an hour's worth of gameplay? Probably not, but it's so weird. Like the lulls are so weird.
Yeah. One thing I will say about the lulls is they are required for leveling your character up to get you through some of the story beats, but I mean, you've said it. They front load a lot of story into this game, and then go, okay, so that happened, but let's not worry about that right now. Let's worry about getting your street cred up and go do these side quests that, in the prologue, they're just not interesting at all, at all.
Because the first prologues are like the bare knuckle boxing fights around the city, and then all these side quests are like packaged up into your phone, which I never check.
Yeah.
So, and then it's like I accident a side quest. If you overhear a conversation, a side quest will trigger, and then you'll be like, oh, and then you accidentally. For me, I get very challenged with the HUD in this game as well. So I'll try and like get the notification moved away, and accidentally be tracking that mission, that quest. And I'm like, I'm now going the wrong direction. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm now 2.5 kilometers away from where I was going there.
So there was, it's I get that the stuff is required, and like it does help build your character web and your character leveling. It nearly, we talk about choice paralysis as well. There's nearly too much to do, and I did find myself in that early doors of the prologue going, I'm just gonna wait and I'm gonna fast travel. Fast forward the time and just get to what I need to go, because I feel like I want to get the main missions done, because that's where the main action's gonna be.
Yeah, you could just follow the golden path 100% in this game. You'll have a bit of a rough time in some parts, but as far as I've got in this game, I think I'm in Act 2. So
okay,
I had one sticky moment in the game where I was like, oh, I think I'm under-leveled here.
Under-leveled for it,
But it was too deep in, and I couldn't just back out because it was a narrative point. So when you enter an area, the door closes behind you, you can't leave. And it's an auto-save point.
Yes.
You know, that sort of way. But yeah, I agree with you. I think they front load a lot of story and then park it and then tell you, go enjoy the prologue, explore Night City, that we've built this world for you. Go and utilize it and explore it and have fun. And there is a lot of fun to be had, but as you said, a lot of these side quests at the start of the game, a lot of the main story quests at the start of the game are really boring, because put it into context of the narrative of the game, you have just made your grand entrance into Night City, and you have been told that this is the land of opportunity, and your first job is going to meet Dexter Deshawn, and he's like, I don't like you, and I'm not going to give you an important role. Go do this silly job for me, please. Go deliver this package. And that's basically it. What they do really well, though, is if you push through those lulls, they soft build into those big moments, and you can feel it coming. You know, you can feel those big moments. You go, okay, this is getting more interesting. There's more characters being introduced. The missions make more sense. They are far more meaningful, and it builds and builds and builds and builds, and then you have the big like set piece of whatever it might be. But I mean, I've had about three, arguably four big set piece moments in this game. And I can tell you the cycle is you have a massive set piece moment, you're buzzing, you're like, this is the game I want to play. And CD Projekt Red go, I'm glad you enjoyed it. You're not going to see another one of those for a good few hours.
I think you're having too much fun, kid.
Every single time it happens, a big moment, they talk about the big moment, and then the game reverts back to side quest and really not meaningless missions, but they feel so pedestrian because, as you said, the highs in this game are so high and they're instantly followed by this dip, and the story just gets parked, and I would say it stalls, but it doesn't. It gets parked every single time.
Now, I will say the one major beat that because it's so fresh in the head as well, is when we basically after prologue, we then meet Arasaka's bodyguard, who seems to have defected. Yes. And then next thing you know, you're in the front seat of his car and you're being chased down by gang members and you're just told to shoot. The lull is so small there, but your character is dipping in and out of consciousness and you're just trying to figure out what's going on. I think I streamed a good portion of the prologue and just was like, right, I didn't expect this. Right, we're back. So it nearly does a little bit of a bait and switch where it's like, oh, we're just gonna lull and see what happens, and we're gonna get you exposition here with Johnny Silverhand, and no sooner as his little side mission is done, you're straight back into V's arc, and it's just reactionary more than anything. And I thought that was really, really awesome. And immediately that's followed by you go back to your apartment and then you get a phone call and then you go meet me at the diner and then you spend 5 minutes in a chair listening to dialogue and you get a couple of QTEs of reactionary dialogue, but that's about the height of it. And I'm like, okay, right, now we wait, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say is the pacing's totally off. However, I think contextually if what's going on in the story with V, with Johnny, with the other runners, you know, a lot of this kind of makes sense within the context of the story of the complaints that we have.
Yeah.
You know, it makes contextual sense with what's going on in the story. A lot of this stuff being really short-lived, a lot of it being almost dreamlike. A lot of the Johnny sections, especially near the beginning, feel like dreams. And then you have your actual, is it brain dances? Is that what they're called?
The brain dances, yeah.
Which are actual dreams. There's a lot to this game, and I think a lot of the design choices have been made contextually in order to get across the cyberpunk nature of it and what's going on with V, but I'm not going to spoil. But yeah, as a gameplay experience, having those highs, having the lulls, having the story stop, and then you're reduced to driving around doing fairly monotonous side quests. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some side quests in this game some of the best story moments of this game have happened in side quests. But a lot of them are just monotonous.
I feel as if though we are giving this a bit of a hard time, but I I'm remembering playing Red Dead Redemption or GTA 4, GTA 3, GTA San Andreas, whatever. Their side quests weren't particularly good either. It was you would go, you would have a walk to the shop. San Andreas particularly would be you're walking to the shop and someone else would have their handbag stolen and you would just chase them down the street.
Oh, it's better than that.
Beat them up, and then that would be the mission ended.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean. I think as we have now progressed in gaming, and we kind of get to this, and this game has had this 180 from initial release. We have this nearly an unattainable standard, and I think it's maybe an us problem, not so much a game problem. But
it's
definitely. I think we have got this expectation that even the side missions, even the interactables in the world should be mind-blowing, and I guess sometimes life just isn't that
I
interesting.
mean, I wouldn't go that, but I don't think I had the expectation that every aspect of this game and every single second of it was going to be really exciting and riveting. Um, it- what's interesting with what you just said, look at GTA, look at Red Dead Redemption, look at whatever other game is had. They're all open world. They're all open world. This game is open world, and we started this episode talking about how great Night City is and how amazing it is, how vibrant it feels, how alive it feels, how it's all segmented, how it really fits with the sort of tone and the sort of themes they're running with in this game. This game being open world is its biggest strength, by far its biggest weakness.
Yeah.
I just wish playing. I have looked around the internet, and this game everywhere is classified as an action RPG. Where I feel that this game is an immersion sim, and playing this game reminded me of playing the original Deus Ex way back in the day.
Okay.
And I kind of feel that if this game was framed like Deus Ex, which is you go do a mission, you go back to like the headquarters and you go and do a mission. But you could do whatever you want in the headquarters. You could walk
Yeah.
around, talk to anyone. You get your story, you get your lore. I feel that our complaints of this game isn't the game's fault. It is a side effect of the genre of game CD Projekt Red decided to make. Now we're making this game sound awful. It's not. I've put 17 hours in them in Act 2, and there's a lot more game to come in this.
Yeah.
It's a high quality game, but I feel that there's points where I just wanted to push the story through. But the fact that it was open world and the fact that CD Projekt Red wanted to make this so immersive, and it's incredibly immersive. But I feel that there's points of this game where my agency is stripped for me because CD Projekt Red want me to take a little bit of a scenic tour, and I just wish they would just let me have as much or as little agency as I hope. And the biggest thing about this is the open world nature of this game, the immersiveness of this game is totally at odds with the narrative the game is trying to tell. I'm not going to spoil what the story
Yeah.
is, but there is a time limit on it. There is something you have to do within a time frame. And the design of this game is at odds with the story. You have to do this in
Yeah.
X amount of whatever, but here's 72,000 side quests that you could do, and some of them are going to be awesome and some of them are going to be less awesome. Like I like this game. I really do. And I think there's points in the story. Like the story is so interesting, and the themes they're trying to explore. I was reading that the director of the game said, we was asked about why is there nudity in this game? Why can you pick your genitals and things like this? And he's like, because it's cyberpunk. And the body in Cyberpunk is not sacred. It is horrific. And why should we hide it?
Ripped and replaced and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it is a weird mechanic. Even like full disclosure, I think for one of the side missions, where I'm at particularly was like go buy a brain dance module,
yes,
and then dissect it so you can like look for one of the other characters in the game. And I was just like, what else? What do I do? And I basically just was like, you had said something in the group chat about the prostitute aspect of it. It's really funny. So I was just like, I could do that then. So I went to both street corners and went do the do the cutscene for the man, do the cutscene for the woman, and I'm like, I kind of sat there and just like the head sort of cocked, going, this is very graphic. Like I feel as if they spared no expense on.
Yeah. It's a really interesting game. Like, don't play it with your kids around. That's all I'm saying. But no,
Definitely not.
Like, it is super immersive, and like, there's points of the story where you're like, this is horrendous. This story they are telling here is Absolutely. They pull no punches with anything in this game. Like the first mission in Night City, I don't think I'll ever forget it. It's the one where you're going to the freezers.
Oh yeah, God, it was like you're just playing, like making sure this person's not dead, and then you have to phone the
Basically,
ambulance for them, and it's like straight off the bat, it's like pretty grim. Like
like,
as I was playing it, it gave me like nowhere near the same scale and stuff. But I was like, this is RoboCop, this is Rogue City. I feel as if like I was just kind of playing the other side of it.
okay,
If that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, it does, yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I just keep expecting like nonsense, and then I've sort of bumped into Atom Smasher, and I was like, what is going? Like, who is it? This man is just a head with a cybernetic tank attached to him.
I mean,
Essentially,
pretty much, yeah. He's no longer human. He is 99.9%
he's
machine.
beyond the point of being what percentage of human is left there. But the characters are so good. Like even like the Ripper Docs as well. They're really like cool. The characters I have been introduced to are awesome, and I feel as if they're going to be really good narrative driving. But I guess I think we have possibly put not enough hours in to the point where we are talking about it now, where we think we want more. I have a feeling that when we're going to push past the 20-30 hour mark, this game will just throw everything at us.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I will say I have been pretty harsh on this, but I think it's worth mentioning. I don't think this is a game for everybody at all. I think if you don't like this
CD
game,
Projekt Red do this as well. Like I think The Witcher being so highly renowned, The Witcher 3 very much divides opinion. It's either the best game you've ever played or it's just another RPG game.
I have bounced off The Witcher 3 times.
I sit very firmly in the middle of The Witcher 3. I think it's a very good RPG, but I think it's very much I've other stuff I could be playing at the same time, but I enjoy I enjoy it when I play it, and very much when I pick up Cyberpunk, what I play it, I enjoy, but I really have to will myself away from other things.
From whatever else you're playing, yeah. But
exactly.
Let's talk about Cyberpunk, because we're still we're talking about the story here. It's a story about cybernetics, but it is a very, very, very human story, I think is the best way I can put it. There's so many characters in this game, like Dexter Deshawn, the first guy who you get brought into contact with through Evelyn. I hate him, man. So these the characters in this game, especially like your sort of like your antagonist, who's incredible, and all like your chooms, your companions, whatever you want to call them. Like some of them are just, they're all quite memorable, but they all make you feel certain ways. Dexter Deshawn, I hate it. Like I didn't trust that man the more I walked into the room
I knew
with him.
rightly he was always gonna like do something shady at you, but because like he straight away talks about like, oh, you either go out in a blaze, it's Night City, you go out in a blaze of glory, or you like sit in the shadows and everyone forgets who you are really. And he is always this like baller life. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be the legend. I'm going to go and do this and stuff. But it's like, I'm at this middle management part where I'm like, I quite like a cushy,
Yeah. As soon as I walked
way of living.
As soon as I walked into the room with him and I can't remember what he's called, the hacker you meet there, T-Bug.
Yeah.
And I was like, I do not like him. And he was like, how much do you want? You'll get 10%. I think I talked him up at 20. I was like, I'm not taking this for 10%. I don't like you, man. You would kill me to get more of your share. And I hated Dexter Deshawn. I hated him. He was a villain that you were forced into working with effectively. Jackie, though. Jackie
was great.
A guy.
He's like one to
Jackie.
show you the ropes, and one person who's kind of just like not indoctrinated by Night City, but he's very much just like knows how it works. He's very much like a lifelong friend of V in whatever situation, like however you want to sort of frame that. And he kind of felt like comic relief, but he just goes about his life and nothing bothers him. And I thought he was a brilliant kind of like flip. Oh, he's the other side of V, like that serious V coin.
Like he was like your foil. He was. I thought the same way. My notes for Jackie is one sentence. I felt like I knew him for years. He felt
Yeah.
like a friend, not of V, but of me. And I think this is one of the strongest thing that I think the thing that makes the story so strong and these characters feel so strong is the fact that it is a first person game, and every single piece of dialogue, every single cutscene is from V's viewpoint. And when the characters are talking to you and they're looking at you, and because this game is so immersive, especially when you're wearing headphones and stuff,
V is you, like, yeah,
he's
yeah.
you. He's like it is not very often. I know Lord British, I can't remember his real name, Richard Garriott. Richard Garriott used to say the most important thing of an RPG is not only the story, but is making the player feel like he is part of the story. And he used to call characters avatars. That's where the
Yeah.
term comes from. This is your avatar. It comes from Richard Garriott, and it comes from the Ultima series, because he was such a big tabletop role player. He knew that a great story means nothing if you don't feel invested in the character. And why make a character when your player becomes the character? And this game makes you feel like you are a part of the story. You are V as the player, and every time you're talking to one of these characters, they are talking
Oh, yeah, yeah.
directly to you. And the more we talk about this, the more I'm seeing the themes being pulled through. And you know they want you to feel the way Fee is feeling, so you get into Night City in the way you do, and I'm sure you're confused, you're dazed, and you're also came here for big dreams, but these big dreams aren't coming, so you're frustrated. And the game communicates that perfectly with the player, because you feel frustrated, you feel bored, you feel antsy, you feel you want something big to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this purposeful? Have we missed a point until this moment in time?
I think the pennies dropped for the pair of us, probably.
I think
right
so.
now.
This is 3D storytelling here. But no, Jackie's great. I love Jackie. Jackie, honestly, up until this point, is my favorite character in this game.
He's also the most
Johnny,
likable. He has no like other
he's human.
agenda. He's just like he wants to get the girl. He's all about. He talks about basically he talks about like get
His
paid.
mum,
His mom Misty, and he has like that plan in his life. And V's like, I just want to be a legend in Night City.
yes,
Every other character you come across has a motive. They want to use you for their
but
own
yeah,
gains and ends, and Johnny in particular as well. And then very quickly he's like, well, no, that's not feasible. We're going to have to kind of work together on this. And
yeah,
that relationship between V and Johnny is really cool. And it's not a way that I thought the game was going, especially just, from marketing. I was like, he's a rock star. That's like, how does this fit in? Like, he's a dead rock star. How does this fit in? And him as a character is really interesting. I'm really, really intrigued to see how that progresses throughout like the rest of the gameplay. Awesome. Like in terms of like, there's no character in this that has been like wasted, and every character has like, a purpose and meaning. Even if we despise that character, we're just like, we know we
yeah,
have
yeah,
to kind of stick with it. I'm like, even the missions I'm with now, it's Judy, I think.
yeah.
I'm
Judy
like,
and Evelyn,
she's
yeah.
fine. I know Judy and Evelyn have their own agenda, but you feel like, right, Judy's in distress because Evelyn's missing. So you go and you're like, right, I have to help.
Judy's
And
awesome.
yeah,
Judy's awesome. Judy is right up there as one of my favorite characters in this game. Judy's awesome.
cool.
So is Evelyn. So is Evelyn. I like a lot of the characters in this. I think Keanu Reeves, Johnny Silverhand, what a character, man. And what a performance. I think the performances here from everyone, Hollywood quality.
Oh, stellar. Like, I could actually like, I would watch this as like a TV show,
Me
like,
too.
or a movie or something like that. I think it's so well set up, and that probably helps with like the narrative breaks and stuff like that. That's how you would just pace it as a film or
Mm-hmm.
TV show. God, the penny has really dropped, hasn't it?
I think so. I think I'm seeing the point. I think I'm seeing the point of Cyberpunk all of a sudden. I knew this was going to be a good conversation to have, but yeah, another thing we'll have to mention here is the voice acting is great. The story's great when you're engaging with
In
it
the
and
middle of it, like, yeah.
yeah. it's really intriguing. Like, I still don't know what the crack is, why Johnny Silverhand is in this story, but I'm glad he is, and I want to know. Um, the the way it's directed. So I've sort of alluded to this a wee bit, where they look directly at you, but not everyone you interact with will look directly at you. So there is a point in this game where you have to go get a weapon, and you meet the guy who has the weapon, and it is one of the most tense scenes I've ever played in an RPG. But he is talking at you as he paces. The direction of these cutscenes, that you can move your head freely throughout, is incredible, and it is like a generational leap over what we ever seen on the PlayStation 4, really, from a first person perspective. Especially, like, you think about how cutscenes are in Bethesda games, even Starfield, which is a current gen game.
They pull the focus from everything. It's like this fixed camera frame on the person you're talking
NPC,
to. Yeah. I was thinking about this as well. Like,
they just stand there.
I genuinely think I try and catch the game out. It's like they're looking, and I am sitting there strafing left and right. I'm jumping up and down, and I'm crouching, looking down at them. Like, they'll adapt to you in the environment, and they don't just stand static. They kind of move around the room and stuff as well, and they'll pivot and move and twist and everything like that as well. So it's awesome. You can kind of, like, I have to really, really praise how much like effort has gone into this. Like, the interactions feel really good in the game too.
They feel real. They feel real. Like, there was one point in the story where it was a cutscene, and I was told to sit down, and the character V did, but you could stand up, and if you did that, he stopped his monologue, and I was like, I told you.
The other thing as well,
down.
I will say, is really good about this, and I do this all the time when I'm playing, like, Mass Effect or anything that has like multiple conversation options, and then you could just pause it and go off. You don't have to pause it. You can just leave the room, and that conversation will
just freeze.
Pause. Yeah. Whereas in like this, it does this lovely little nod. If you're sitting there like struggling to say what to say next, or you just leave, they sit there and prompt you and go, why you got silent, V? Like,
is everything
what's
okay?
wrong? Is everything okay? Like, there was a scene, I think it's even at the very start, where we are in the limo with Dexter Deshawn, and you're just driving around the city.
Yeah.
And I know that that's kind of on this like little it'll be on this like predetermined loop or whatever, but I feel like you could be driving for about an hour, and he'll just be prompting you with like, what the hell's wrong with you? Or the game eventually would likely force you into an decision, option if you've gone idle for too long. But yeah, nothing feels like it's forced. Everything felt like it was super organic. Yeah, which is a real testament to it. Like, I think it feels like life sim as opposed to
that's what I'm saying. It's an immersion sim. It is an RPG, but it's also an immersion sim as well, where you feel so invested in what's happening, what everyone's saying. Like, there's times where I've like, you get decision points, and I panic and go, I don't know what the right thing to do here. What's the right? Because you can see the value in both. There's no binary. This is the correct answer and this is the wrong answer. And I was like, oh no, what do I do here? It's the first time in my life I've ever played a role playing game and going, what would V do? What's right for him?
Yeah.
I'm picking it totally based on that. And some of the choice points you get in this game make a massive difference, like a huge difference. And they will impact the rest of your game in either a positive way or a negative way. The game, the role-playing game here is just, it is a generational leap.
Like, it's so in depth.
And I think that this game is the reason the Elder Scrolls hasn't surfaced. I think Bethesda would have quite happily done a Elder Scrolls skinned Starfield if this game didn't exist. This game has raised the bar for me for that sort of first-person immersion sim style RPG. It's not a genre I particularly like, but I have my criticisms of this game, and most of my criticisms revolve around story pacing. I really enjoy stories in games, and sometimes I just want to have the agency to be able to take the story at my own pace. And this game stops you from doing that for a narrative and sort of tonal reason, and I get it now. I get it now.
I do
I
get
get
it.
it now.
Yeah,
CD Projekt Red, um, but it's the second best RPG I've played this year.
That's fair. I can't remember what the first RPG you've played was as well. So.
You'll find out later in an episode next month. Let's just put it that way. It is the second best RPG I've played this year.
That's really good, though.
I think there's a lot to like in this game. The gameplay,
massively, yeah. The music
gameplay in
as
this
well.
game.
I know that we haven't really touched on the music of this. I think there's a lot of sensory overload on it because we kind of lean it. We'll lean further into this immersion sim. Obviously, with the cyberpunk motif, everyone is like augmented with all of their technology. So like the interactions, like on the controller with the phone, if you're playing with headphones, the alerts and the texts and the calls very much are an attack on the senses, and that just drowns out like whatever ambient noise we have in the world as well. So like they've nailed the future vibe in terms of the audio really, really well. And I dread every time I go into combat because you get that like pinch shrill noise. It just is so loud, and it properly is like a piercing feeling in your head. Even get a phone call or a text message, I'm like, no, please don't, not again.
Yes. The mobile phone's annoying, but because you're just constantly getting text messages. But it's really, again, immersive because not every text message you get is from a character you've met. Sometimes it's just from a character. Sometimes it's spam.
It's just a spam text,
which I thought was really funny. You just get like.
There was one that was me. It was just like, oh, you've got a different rank or something now. Do you want to think about like moving up into new digs? And I'm like, I just think I text back going, sure, whatever. I was so throw-away. So I think I now have a new apartment.
But yeah, no, the music's great. The music is, well, it's great. It depends on what your viewpoint is in this. The music is like that scene in The Matrix where Neo meets Trinity.
Yeah, it's like that.
It's just like hardcore, just trance rave everywhere.
Yeah,
but it's great.
I mean, it's really, really cool. Like, I mean, even like you get the music mainly in like the title sequence, and then kind of in like the world of the game as well. But it's just that pulsy, either heavy metal or like pulsy drum and bass kind of sound. There's a very like high octane music vibe to it, but there's never been a piece of music in this game that I've been like, I hate this. I want rid of it. Same. It's always been like a rather pleasant experience. Some of the like in-game sounds I would maybe have tweaked and changed, but the music on this one is really good. The DualSense integration is really good on it as well, especially for the shooting. Like and it depends, I think, on what level of gun that you have as well. Depends on like how much of the haptic kickback you get. And I there's something about the DualSense on this that when you even go from unarmed to the weapon, the whole controller just goes zzz, and like you know that you're ready for combat. And I'm like, that is just, it's such a stupid feature, but it's so good. Like, but it's not, I know but I know that's what, when the DualSense first came out, when the PS5 first came out, they were like, look at the haptic feedback. Look, if you want to pull the trigger, you actually have to squeeze it. You can't just like flap at the buttons and that'll happen. Like, it's so well done.
Yeah, the melee combat feels amazing on that DualSense. Amazing. There's just so much. Everything about this game is about immersion, and it extends to even the gameplay here, because we've talked a lot about side missions and stuff, but every mission in this game, apart from early critical story missions, it allows you to do that mission any way you want. There's freedom here in every way. So I'll give you an example. I got a mission to I was getting a chip. I was getting a chip, and I had to break into like a factory, like a RoboCop type factory thing in an industrial estate, basically. But it was just like, there you go. There's the building. Go get the chip you're looking for, and it just like opens it up, And this felt like Deus Ex to me, where there was 5 or 6 people outside and there were 5 or 6 inside. And I was like, well, I can't really take all these guys on because I'm still quite low level. So how do I do this? And then I was like, oh, I have upgraded my Netrunner abilities and just hacking the world, hacking them, and
This
just
is it, yeah.
and I just hacked. There was 2 at a door, one around the corner. I hacked the person around the corner, overloaded his circuitry, knocked him unconscious, and then noticed there's scaffolding. There's an open window. Let's get in this place. Got into the place, hacked the security cameras, made distractions around, moved the enemies around just where I needed them to be away
And
from
just
my
create your own
critical
path away.
path,
Yeah.
and got to the end mission without being detected because I was using all the net. Now I could have just easily just equipped my machine gun and ran in and
And
blasted
running
everyone,
ram.
but this game allows you. It gives you like little sandboxes and goes, yeah, do what you want. Do what you want, see if it
Oh
works.
yeah. Like
It's
it's
brilliant.
not a case of it's not a case of like in other games where it's just the conveniently shoulder height cover system. This gives you a lot of agency in some of these
Yeah,
arenas. We'll say. I like the idea of a game that isn't primarily for stealth, but gives you that option to go. You have the tools in which
yeah,
to do stealth there for you. Like even in one of the very first missions where it's go and find the little tiny armored rover kind of creature that you need for the heist
yes, yes.
at Arasaka Tower. You don't have to fight that boss. You can sneak past everybody and
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
leave.
yeah.
That fact that is an option, it's an optional objective, albeit, but the fact that is presented to you is like a really cool, subtle handhold to go, you don't have to run and gun everything in this game. And sometimes running and gun will not be your best way forward.
It's the worst. It's the worst thing to do. Yeah, I fought another boss a wee bit later on, and yeah, she killed me about 3 or 4 times, and then just the last time I fought her, I went in and then noticed that she had like a point, and I was like, oh, I wonder, can I hack that point? And no, I couldn't. But what I could do was hack another point in the room, distract her using that point, and then run up and use my knife in her back and tanked her to about by 1/3 of her
Okay.
health without even starting the boss fight. The door hadn't closed. Her health hadn't appeared. It appeared once I took out the thing on her back. And it's a game that's full of freedom. This game, from top to bottom, start to finish, wants you to feel freedom, and they want you to do what you want, and they give you every available tool in order to enable you to do what you
Oh yeah,
want.
definitely.
Like the gameplay of this game is just
It
incredibly
took me
deep.
a while to kind of like, maybe I missed the tutorial like module, like the memory card into the neck kind of thing
Yes.
to do like the hacking, or if it was something I've forgotten from a previous attempt of a playthrough. But the fact that like I stumbled upon that in like one of my skill wheels and just went, oh, I can like overload their optics and that'll corrupt their field of vision, or I can hack a camera and make it do other things and stuff
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you have an infinite way of going about a situation, and if that fails, you can whittle down the pack and then just shoot the last person in the head, or you can just do the stealth approach. Or like the agency in those situations is incredible. Like even Arasaka Tower at the end, like is my main reference. It's like I stealthed 90% of that,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
only when I got to like the lobby set pieces where it's like the lobby then into the parking and then into those big arenas where I was like, well, I have to fight my way at some points there. But I like it. I like it when a game kind of gives you that option, even though it's not. Maybe I would say that CD Projekt Red have went, probably shooting will be the funnest way to do it, but stealthing will give you a great sense of satisfaction. I would say your XP boost on it is probably a lot
Yeah.
higher because you've done it in a non-lethal capacity.
Yeah,
Ish.
ish. I mean, you don't get it. Sort of. I don't think it even does. I think you get like on the move sort of bonuses. Like
You'll
if you
get like
take someone out
yeah.
without knocking them out, then no one's going to know you've been passed through there. That sort of way. It's more passive sort of benefits to not killing everyone. Although my character build, as I said at the start, is net running and combat. I like the idea of being able to on the fly switch to wherever the situation needs. So if I can sneak, I'll sneak past. But if I feel, if you mess up your stealth approach and you get in and out, I would like to be able to defend myself. So my character right now is V's looking decent. He can do
pretty balanced, yeah.
But he's pretty much everything. Yeah, I mean, I've no doubt in my mind that I don't even know if you can re-roll your character in this. I'm hoping you can. If I tend in RPGs, especially like this, to get about 3/4 way through and go.
Possibly, I think is this like a case of going to a Ripper doc and then maybe realigning some stuff. I think it's possible, but it probably comes with a huge caveat or something.
Right now, I am a master of two trades. I'm a jack of two trades, but a master of none. But it's working for me. I haven't really struggled.
Yeah.
I have come across a few bugs here. The boss that I stabbed in the back.
Oh, yes, I remember it didn't engage at all. Like she just stood idle.
I think it fought me until half health, and then for some reason just stopped and just stood there while I just killed her. Well, I'll take it. But no, this game, it's a strange game. I think I'm glad I didn't put down a tier list before we came in here.
I have I do have a lot of like thoughts, and I have a lot of processing about this game as we've been talking, as is always the way with these game of the months as well. Even as I'm playing it, I was streaming it, I was like, am I enjoying this? I think I am. And then like something happens and I'm like, God damn, I'm hitting. I didn't expect that. I think when a game can just go, there you go, that's something to subvert onto you, and I'm like, God damn it, that's how you do storytelling, I suppose, in games.
It's an interesting one. It reminds me of the first couple of times I played Fallout 3, where I would start Fallout 3, be really into it, and then lose interest, and then don't go back to it, and then come back to it and go, I can't remember what was going on, let's restart it. And then it was about the third time I played it is when Fallout 3 clicked with me, and I was like, oh, this is what this game is. I feel this game has those clicky moments where you're like, oh, hello.
It's not a game I'm putting down, but it'll be a game that I will constantly go. I will go back to. I'll carve out an hour or two and play it, and then no time am I playing it where I feel like as if it's a chore. It's always a really enjoyable experience. It needs to be done in small bursts. I think that's how I'm approaching Cyberpunk anyway.
Yeah, it's a funny one for me because I'm playing Expedition 33 at the moment, and Expedition 33 is a game that when I'm not playing, I'm thinking about and I want to play. Whereas Cyberpunk 2077 is a game when I'm playing it, I'm really enjoying it. When I turn it off, I'm thinking about it. But the next day, no, I'm not. But it's one of those games.
You're not thinking about what you would do differently. Yeah,
I'm not going to cane this game. This is a game I will tourist, for lack of a better phrase. I will play it every now and again and get the wee bits ahead, and then eventually come to the end of it. Do I want to know how the story ends? Of course I do. Yeah. But do I have the time investment to get through the sheer amount of game that CD Projekt Red have put into this? Not with everything else to play in 2025. So that's it. Let's put this on the tier list. Don't we go first? Because I have my tier.
I want to I have one more point, which it's going to swim at the HUD and the control scheme in this game is a jank garbage mess. That like just the HUD is it's everything everywhere all at once. Like all your directional buttons on the left for like your phone, your stim, your car, your like your weapon cycle, your ammo count and stuff like that. Like it's nice and neat and in the corner, but there's too much to tell you what to do. And I think every time I go to like look at my car, I accidentally put my health like a stim.
I do that too. Yeah. Or throw a grenade.
Or throw a grenade, yeah.
And I think
the button scheme also is really, really bizarre. Like interact isn't X. Interact is hold square.
Yeah.
And I can't understand for what that is.
Because this is a game that was designed for PC. A mouse only has 2 buttons, so interact is
Yeah.
E.
So nine
That's
times
why.
out of 10, 9 times out of 10, whenever I go to talk to an NPC, the first thing I do is I just run up to them and then jump.
The amount of times I have tried to get my phone and I end up throwing a grenade is crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't think the control scheme is bad.
Oh, it's
I
not
think
too
it's
jarring. It's just not what I'm used to, and I
I
could
think
just
it's
easily go through the settings and change it. But I am always play it native because that's how the developers intended it.
it's 100% a remnant from the game being developed and designed from the ground up for a PC, and we don't have keyboards. We don't have an infinite
Yeah.
amount of keys. One thing I will say though, you did mention something there about the HUD, about it being everything everywhere all at once. Gameplay wise, there's minimal HUD. Is there any when you're playing the game? If there is, it's
Apart from your
bottom left hand corner of the
bottom
screen.
left and bottom right, so it's your gun, your ammo count, and then all of your your PDF or your not your PDF, your PDA, your car, your health, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, what I will say though was once you get into the pause menus,
Oh,
you're
the skill wheels are
What?
an entire other beast as well, because it's not even just your skill wheels, it's your cybernetics, it's your stats, it's everything.
there's a lot in this
too
game.
too much to be thinking of as well. And lastly, I did have a comment there to make, and it's gone. Never mind. It'll just come back to me. I'll blurt it out in like the next minute or so, no doubt.
Well, while you're thinking about it,
Yeah, too many times where the game just forces you to sit down and stand up, and it's not just an automatic thing. It's like hold square to sit down, and I'm like, right, okay, now I'm sitting down. Right, I've listened to 10 minutes of dialogue. Now hold square to stand up, and I'm like, what is the point? Why are we doing this?
I like that.
Make it a seamless transition.
I like that.
I got really, really frustrated on it, especially when you're in the diner and then your man leaves and then Johnny sits down, and I'm like, Johnny's a bloody figment of my imagination. Why is the game telling me to stand up? I get it's kind of, I feel like it should be a conscious choice to be like kind of how BioShock was, where it's like is it the free will of the player, or is it the conformity of the cybernetics taking over and doing stuff like it? It's brilliant and frustrating at the same time.
Yeah, I like that. I do. I like that. Yeah, it's just one of those moments that take your agency away because you want to go do something, but the game's like, no, not yet.
You have to stand up first.
You have to wait. And I like it. I get that now. Right. Where's it going on the tier list? Where are we putting this?
I had my heart set on B tier, but I actually think for all the game that is there and all the game that is to come, I think this is an A tier game as well. Like they've supported this game from like they've stood by this game from 1.0 to the game that it is now. They've got 2 DLCs now. They've got greenlit for full development for Cyberpunk 2077 2 or whatever we're calling it now. It's not a game that they went, this is crap, throw it to the wolves. They've stood by it. They've put care and attention into it throughout its entire life cycle. I think it still gets patchworks and hot fixes and other kind of stuff in between. Like we've talked about this, and like there's a lot to kind of love about this game. There is an awful lot more, just as much to be frustrated about. As we've discovered on this journey, it is very much an us problem, not a game problem. But there's so much game in this. I think it has to be an A tier. I really do.
Yeah. So I'm putting it on A tier as well. I think the highs are super high, and like I would love to give it an S tier because I think it very easily could be S tier. But I think the little niggly issues and the sort of removing of agency with regards to moving the plot forward in a pace that I would like, but as we've discovered, maybe that's the point. Maybe they want us to feel what V is feeling. You know what I mean? Maybe I've just missed the point up until this discussion. But no, it's a great game. It's beautiful looking. Night City's incredible. One of the best gaming settings I've ever experienced. The acting, incredible.
So
it's just, it's an A tier. It's an A tier game all day long. I think if I had beaten the game and saw the end of the story and had that closure, maybe it could be an S. But as of right now, with what,
Well, I
16,
think this is
17
like
hours.
a beauty of it. Like there was a lot of games that we've done for Game of the Month where we've tried, tested, played, completed several times over, and then it's pretty biased as a discussion. Whereas this one, where two very different points in the game. Cardinal, if he were here as well, would be in a completely other opinion of this game and where he stands on it as well. I think having as being in such an infancy of the game in terms of a runtime, in terms of a total playtime, kind of gives us a lovely little view into where we are in the game. And as we've talked about it, our opinion had kind of like, oh, maybe we've missed the point entirely for this. So if CD Projekt Red are listening, sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry.
Tell me next time. But yes. Well, that is 2 tiers for Cyberpunk 2077, which means it's time for the wrap-up section. That is it, Tomahawk, the second last game of the month for 2025, which means we have to announce what game of the month is for next month. And it is Cardinals' favorite, Cardinals game of the year 2024. It is Astrobot.
I'm so excited for this one.
Yeah, Astrobot, PlayStation
really
5.
Excited.
So that is game of the month for December. And I think that'll be out the week of New Year's.
Yeah, it'll be the
so.
last Monday. I think that one, we're just going to stay the course on that schedule. The December schedule is going to be chaos anyway.
Chaos.
But I think Astrobot will just keep that in last Monday of the month. So that'll be everyone's post-Christmas, pre-New Year's blues.
That's it. Yeah. So
digest that.
Astrobot is going to be game of the month next month. So I think the discussion next month might be just a little bit different. But that is it. That is another month all wrapped up. So just to go over some of the housekeeping, if you have enjoyed this episode, if you listened to any episode and you haven't yet give us a star review on the podcast platform you're listening to us on, give us 1 star to 5. Whatever you think we're worth, that's what we get. If you want more content from us, just head over to highstakes.com. And if you want to hit that share button and share this episode with a family member or a friend who you think may enjoy it, do that now. Our analytics tell us the vast majority of you are on your phone, so you have no excuses. And with all that being said, Tomahawk, I have nothing left to say except I've been Mr. Luvva Luvva. This has been High Scores, High Stakes Game of the Month Club. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next month. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.